I thought correcting the behavior was the right thing to do. Clear rules. Consistent responses. But instead of improving things, it slowly made everything worse. My home life felt like it was breaking apart, and I couldn't figure out why. This is a story about a young child, one who was just starting to learn about the huge, overwhelming world of emotions. They were still figuring out how to explain what they felt inside, how to put words to those big, confusing sensations. From the outside, the behavior looked simple. It looked like defiance. There were tantrums over seemingly small things. A flat-out refusal to listen, no matter how nicely I asked. These strong, explosive reactions to tiny moments in our day became the norm. So, naturally, my focus stayed on correcting the behavior. That seemed like the logical thing to do, right? If there's a problem, you fix the problem. I was convinced that if I just found the right words, the right tone, the right consequence, everything would click into place. But it didn't. Every single day felt like a test, a battle of wills that I was consistently losing. Just getting dressed in the morning could spark a meltdown. Moving from playtime to dinner time was like navigating a minefield. And bedtime? Bedtime was the final, exhausting showdown of the day. Each and every time one of these behaviors appeared, my response was immediate correction. I used a firm voice, thinking that showed authority. I gave clear, simple instructions, believing that would eliminate confusion. I even implemented consequences, hoping that would teach a lesson about cause and effect. But the behavior didn't fade away. It got worse. It intensified. It was like I was pouring gasoline on a fire I was trying to put out. The more I corrected, the bigger the reactions became. The tantrums lasted longer. The defiance grew stronger. Our connection, the very foundation of our relationship, was cracking under the strain. I felt like a complete failure. I was reading all the parenting books, following all the advice, and yet my child seemed to be drifting further away from me. We were stuck in this awful cycle of behavior, correction, and escalation, and I was exhausted, frustrated, and completely out of ideas. The shift, the moment everything changed, didn't come from a new parenting book or a complicated strategy. It came from a simple, quiet pause. In the middle of yet another meltdown, instead of launching into my usual script of corrections and consequences, I just stopped. I took a breath. And I shifted my attention from what was happening on the surface, the screaming, the kicking, the crying, to what might be happening underneath. And then I said something so simple, it felt almost radical at the time. I just said, "I can see how big this feels for you." And in that instant, something changed. The storm didn't magically stop, but the wind died down. There was a flicker of connection in their eyes, a tiny crack in the wall of their distress. That was the realization. Correcting behavior isn't inherently wrong. Rules and boundaries are important for kids to feel safe. But when a child's behavior is being driven by a powerful emotion, correction alone can feel like dismissal. It can feel like you're saying, "Your feelings don't matter, only your actions do." But young children don't misbehave just to be difficult or to push our buttons. Their behavior is their communication. It's their way of shouting to the world, "I'm not okay. I'm overwhelmed. I need help." And when we finally acknowledge their feelings, when we show them that we see their struggle, their nervous system begins to settle. It's just like their brain can finally stop sounding the alarm because they know someone has heard them. After that turning point, the emotions didn't just disappear. Kids still have big feelings. But they started to move through my child so much faster. The storms came, but they passed more quickly. The behavior itself began to soften. The defiance lessened, replaced by a willingness to cooperate. Most importantly, our connection grew stronger than it had ever been. And none of this happened because the child changed. It happened because my response did. I learned to see past the behavior and connect with the heart of the person right in front of me. If this story feels familiar, if you're stuck in that cycle of correction and escalation, please know you are not failing. You are not a bad parent. It is incredibly hard. Sometimes, embracing the feeling is the very thing that allows the challenging behavior to pass. You don't have to correct every single moment. Sometimes, just offering understanding is more than enough. Thanks so much for watching. If this helped, consider subscribing for more.